Welcome to the third floor of our proposed Center for Theater. As you get off the elevators, the front elevators here on the third floor, the first thing you'll see in front of you are 3 stage management offices. These will coincide with our 3 main stage theaters and our 3 studio theaters, and this will be the heartbeat of management right here, these 3 offices. Also on this level, we have a faculty office for a new proposed management professor who would teach both theater management, stage management, and touring management, company management to our students. Adjacent to that office, we have a large lounge here that will serve all of our students and our faculty and our staff for the third floor here. They'll have kind of a nice area to have a little break in. Adjacent to this, across the way, is our playwriting block here, where we'll have a large area for our playwriting fellows and students to gather and work and try ideas, bounce them off each other and see what comes out, right? Adjacent to that will be our playwriting head faculty member's office, adjacent to what we will call the playwriting pit there. And then adjacent to that, we have a suite of offices for our Trinity Shakespeare Festival, which will include a meeting room here, an office for our outreach program for Camp Willie. We have a company management office. We have 2 small guest artist offices for our visiting artists. And then, of course, our artistic director's office there on the corner. As far as the orange goes on this floor, this strip here will house the Trinity Shakespeare Archive in that closet area. This orange here, the rest of the orange you see on this page is all for costumes, because the rest of this floor is dedicated to costuming, production and design, and our classroom work, and our storage and displays for that matter too. So if you were an actor that had a fitting for a show, if you use the front elevators, you would come off and you would have a place here you could Y off. You could either go here for your class, or if you have a fitting, you go this direction. And when you come back, there's a little waiting area right here with 2 fitting rooms adjacent to it, a relaxation room, our second of the building. Remember, I told you there's one down on lower level 2 in the green room too, for our staff and students and faculty to, if they need to, they can just have a moment to step out and get into one of these relaxation rooms and kind of bring themselves back to earth, as it were. And then adjacent to that is a storage space for fabrics and notions and all sorts of things, whatever we're working on currently, the projects that we're currently involved with. A lot of the costume shop I have taken from my inspiration, the shops at the Royal Shakespeare Company over in England that I visited last year. And so here's some of the highlights of that. We have here a resident designer's office here, and adjacent to that we have the wardrobe's supervisor's office here, the head of wardrobe, who also manages the entire program. Across the hall from them is an office for our guest designers to use, and with them also is where we would have swatches and things like that, so they could be working and planning things. So this basically is the brain trust right here, getting together to work on these designs. I should say in conjunction with our wig designer over here too, that would be available. But that's our office space here for designers, basically for costume design. And then this space right here would be our classroom, actually, that would have tables and chairs and stuff, seating for our classes. And the back of it there, where we would have a TV and a video board and a whiteboard and all, would back up to a print room here, where we would we'd create our printed fabrics for especially for period shows and stuff. We could do that right there. Adjacent to that is right across from it, I should say, at the back of the building, is where we have props and for the armory for like our Shakespeare shows when you have battles and things like that. All of that could be constructed and done back there. Now, to finish these pieces out, let's say you printed out the fabric, but you wanted to age it up, let's say. So you need a spray room there for that. We have two of them. We have a small spray room for small objects with a kind of a table, a desk area to work with. And then we have a larger spray room adjacent to it, which is tall enough where we could set up fabrics on a mannequin and spray them down and do different touches to them, etc., with various paints and all. This room also would be adjacent to our laundry here, and then hopefully to have some dry cleaning facilities with that, and then our pressing and ironing facilities all in this space here, right here. I've told you about our dressing rooms here, our fitting rooms. Along the back wall here, we would have our sewing areas, our sewing machines, industrial sewing machines. Our cutting tables and layout tables would be in this area here with a divider in between that would be kind of our project boards we would divide it up to men on this side and women on this side as we were working on the projects. Then in the back here, we have an area that is used by everyone that has button holders in it and fusion presses and that sort of thing, all here in the back corner. And then adjacent to that is a 20 by 20 foot studio for millinery and for jewelry there. We have our storage here. This is the storage for our supplies that we use all the time. Different types of muslins, foams, things like that we use all the time in setups of shows. Adjacent here, we have our wig shop and storage. We have a wig designer's office. We have a line of fitting spaces along this wall here. This back wall here would be where our sinks and dye areas and that sort of thing. Oh, I meant to say we have the dye rooms over here too for our fabrics. And then we have our workbenches here for tying and making the wigs themselves. And it opens into this room here, 10 by 15 foot wig storage room in addition. So that is our layout, basically, you see here on the third floor, which is encompasses costumes, costume storage, stage management, playwriting, and Trinity Shakespeare Festival. In our three main stage theaters, I should point out to you, this level is lighting positions for our two proscenium and thrust stage theaters, and this is lighting and sound positions for our arena theater. So that's the third floor. Next, we'll take a quick look at 3.5.